Hi, this is Gautam, and the book for today is a classic, The Guide by R.K. Narayan. When I finished R.K. Narayan's guide, there was a sense of incompleteness, a void which could never get filled. Like reading through the book, one interesting fact was that you can never understand where or with what he was able to create that sensation. The author seems to weave what looks like a very simple story, but it is not. It's essentially a recollection of thoughts by the protagonist who goes by the name of Raju. Raju returns from jail after spending 2 years, and on his way, he stops in a village. The villagers mistake him for a saint, and rather than telling them the truth, he accepts that mistake and kind of plays on to that image. But the intriguing part of the story is not with reference to Raju the saint, but it lies in his past. Raju lives in the author's fictional town of Malgudi, where his father runs a small retail business. His disinterest in studies results in him discontinuing his education and starting to take up his father's business. The story takes a different turn when a railway station is opened in the town of Malgudi. Raju gets an opportunity in which he opens one more retail shop in the railway station itself. The opening of the railway station brings in large number of tourists for the town of Malgudi. And using this as an opportunity, Raju begins to pose as the guide for the town of Malgudi. Now, he poses as a know-it-all guy who simply blabbers dishonest information to anyone who comes to the town of Malgudi because his objective is simply to make as much money as possible. Things begin to take violent turns when he decides to act as a guide for a married couple who come from the town of Madras. Now he gets attracted to this dancer woman, Rosie, and he's getting stuck in an irreversible whirlpool of events. Reading this book felt like eating a South Indian meal on a banana leaf. The author fed you all the flavors using his words, and even though you had enough, you always felt that you wanted more. The book starts comedic, but you do not know, suddenly just becomes serious and deals with many philosophical inquiries. For example, the title of the book, the word guide, can mean a lot of things. It can simply mean the role of guide played by Raju. Like the protagonist acts as a guide. He acts as a guide for the tourists, or it can mean the role of the guide which Raju the saint plays in his later part of the life, or the word guide can also mean that this is a philosophy textbook and you can use the story as a guide to life, or maybe the word guide is simply a joke or a satire. The story is essentially about the relationship between or the study between chance and choice. When an event occurs, how far can one attribute to the question of chance, and how far does it depend on the power of choice? For example, the woman who comes to the railway station on that day might simply be an event, a chance. But following that event, how many events which occurred after that can be attributed to the choices of the protagonist, Raju? So one can also say that it is a relationship between a man's actions and the consequences, and the actions for the consequences. It takes multiple turns. It is also about one more philosophical inquiry. Like humans wear different personalities and masks for different roles which they play in their life. So when you wear a mask, how far is the closeness between the mask or the personality which a person wears and the actual face? Or under certain circumstances, the mask or the personality becomes very powerful that the actual face or the hidden human face behind it needs to try to match itself to the personality. How far can you try to match your mask? That is also a question posed by the story. This text won the Sahitya Academy Award in the year 1960. Only a master storyteller can weave such complexities in a simple story. I believe that you should read this book because each and every one of us has a railway Raju inside us. That's it for today.